Yep, next on the MARR Army Rock Show, a band that if you've been listening to the rock show for any length of time, you already know. We've been following them for a long time now. They've got a song in our Golden Dozen. They are Ignite the Fire from Taneytown, Maryland. They've just released a new album. Welcome to the show.
Hey, yo.
Thank you for having us.
So, hey, I love prepping for an interview with you guys in a way because, I know a lot about you because we've been following you for so long, but at the same time, I got to remember that some people listening to the show have not heard of you yet. So, real quick, the new album has just been released. Why don't you tell folks first the title of the new album and maybe the meaning behind that title?
Oh, sure. So the new album is called Between Shadow and Solace. With this album, it's not necessarily a concept album, but we like to think of it as thematic. It's about the darkness and the light, and when it comes together, what it creates, and what it creates is the human in all of us.
Now, let folks know a little bit about where this one was recorded, and tell us a little bit about your producer on this one.
So it was recorded at Darkshill Studios, which is also where we recorded our previous EP, Trial and Triumph. Darkshill Studio in Winchester, Virginia. Our producer was Jeremy Dove. You might know him from Defending Cain. Great band, great producer. He's really helped us really accomplish what we wanted to on this album and really helped us progress into what we are now.
So let's talk a little bit about the record, man. The record starts off, well, the second tune kind of, there's a little intro tune, but the song I wanted to ask you about was Victim of Shame, and it seems like it might be one of the heaviest tunes I've heard you guys release. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that tune?
Well, I think one of the reasons why it's so heavy is it's the first song that we've ever done in triplets, the da-da-da-da-da-da-da rhythm, which I think lends itself to a lot of really hardcore movement. But that's the technical aspect. One of the reasons why it's so heavy is we really wanted to, we've been out of the woodwork for about a year now, and we just kind of wanted to come back with a bang. So we wanted to really go as hard as we possibly could for this one. But it also speaks to what the song is about, which, songs can be interpreted in many different ways. But to me, Victim of Shame is kind of about the feeling that you get when you're stuck in a really dark place and you can't really do anything to get out. And it's kind of that feeling of an outsider looking at somebody being out there and being like, do something about it. Do something. Please. Don't die on me, buddy. It also centers around, it's a great opener for the CD in the sense that, the EP is called Between Shadow and Solace, right? So you have the opening track, but Victim of Shame is like that true darkness, that beginning darkness, and it centers around anxiety and this feeling of just the world's looking at you, dealing with mental illness in a sense, and they're judging you. And so it's about you holding on. It's about trying to reclaim yourself, and that really gets the EP started, and it just goes from there.
So, you guys, no secret to you, I love the tune Lazarus. It has a personal meaning to me that I love, but for folks that are listening and are maybe seen the music video, you did a pretty way cool music video for that. Tell us a little bit about the making of that video.
Oh, sure. The music video was a lot of fun for us. We wanted to kind of step outside the box with it. Didn't want to really streamline things. We wanted to keep the viewer guessing, but Lazarus, in a sense, deals with, and what's interesting about Lazarus and where it's placed on the EP, it's the second to last song. So you're getting more to the lighter side of things. You're getting out of the darkness. But we also wanted to capture all the things that, all the darkness within you. So that's what we did in the music video, in the sense where Holly, our main protagonist, she's seeing anger, depression, bargaining, all these different aspects of her and her mental psyche, and how she thinks that she needs to run away from those, when in fact they're actually a humanistic element of herself, where she's chasing after this little girl who is basically a visage of herself. It's the younger version, is that childhood innocence, but it's also denial. So she's chasing after denial, and ultimately acceptance comes up at the end, and she learns to accept all those dark flaws that are a part of her, so that she can rearrange her life and thusly, become fully human.
Now, give us a little behind the scenes of the making of that thing. How long was the process, and what were some of the more interesting moments trying to film that thing?
I got to paint all of our masks. That was a multi-day video shoot. We did the storyline aspect of it one day, and then the performance aspect of it a different day. That performance aspect I think that was the harder of the two, because it was about 40 degrees out when we were doing that,
with like a 20-degree wind chill
at 6, 7 in the morning, and to the point where it was hard for us to play our instruments because our hands were numb the entire time.
Our faces were pink too.
But I think that also helped capture some of the element of the song itself, where it's dealing with that pain when we were all in pain during the actual shoot.
See, what I really like about it was the weather was so poor that day. It looked so overcast and so nitty-gritty and metal, and I love watching it. It honestly fit the mood. And working with our director, Melissa Sly of Visual Sly, she also did our last music video for Criticize. She really grasped onto the concept that we were building, and she took it to a completely, different level, in the sense that you can really see it in the music video, just how the story progresses and just, how great everything turned out. And we couldn't be happier with the final product.
Yeah, we did have to build our own bridge to get to the location, because across the little river, there was no access around it, so we actually had to build our own bridge to get all the equipment over. So we had to use our architectural degrees that none of us have to be able to do that.
One last thing about Melissa, though. I have to really hand it to her for holding our feet to the fire to get this thing done. We're a group of jokey joke people, and we really like to mess around and joke around, and we don't really like to do a lot of work. So kudos to her for bringing us all to the fire and getting this thing done, because I'm really proud of it, and I hope the viewers who see it are really happy with it too.
And it was really cool, because I've known Hollis, the little girl, since she was born. I've known her mother for the past 10 years now, and they've come to shows, and her first concert was actually us at the Chameleon Club about a year ago. And so when we were doing this concept, I was like, how about Hollis and Kayla and I were talking, and it was like, as long as, Emily and Tim, her parents, are okay with it, let's go for it. And so, I contacted Emily, and she's like, Hollis would literally love to do this. And so, it's these big, guys and these scary masks and this 10-year-old girl, but at the end of this shoot, she's just like so happy and so ecstatic, and she's like, you guys look scary from a distance, but you're actually just a bunch of like really nice guys, and you're so sweet. And then when the video came out, I texted her mom, and I was like, did she show her friends yet and stuff? And she's like, I'll put her on the phone. And she was saying like how she showed all of her friends, and she thought they thought she was like super cool and like in a band now, and she's just over the moon. And it means a lot to me that we kind of have that moment captured now with her. And so it was really cool to have someone that important in my life be a part of something that's also really important in my life.
She's the only good actor in that thing too.
You destroyed it. She did fantastic.
We're limping through our acting skills, going back to our theater days, quote unquote. And here comes this little girl who just shows us all up. We're like, okay, you know what? She's going to carry this music. We'll be fine.
Now, it looks to me, I feel like that 2018 was probably the biggest year to date for your band, just in looking at, the progress you had. What's the goal for 2019 for the band? Are you looking to tour more, or keep writing more? What's the biggest goal for the next year?
Do exactly what we've been doing, but better. Honestly, yeah. I mean, the idea is we want to get out there and tour. We want to extend past the areas that we've been in. We would love to go across the country. Obviously, with this new release, we're hoping to hit many new markets. And this has been an anticipated release for us. I think a lot of people saw what we brought to the table with Trial and Triumph, and we want to take that to the next level. And of course, we're going to be writing as well. I mean,
we're already writing for the next one.
Yeah. We're already demoing and everything, and we have a lot of big plans for 2019. We're going to do everything bigger and better. Every band says that, but we have a solid strategy going into 2019. We're really looking forward to what we have to show off to everyone.
Now, looking back at the past year, you had some pretty big shows. Was there one that you could point to, say that was our biggest show of 2018? And it might be different for different band members. I'm not sure.
Oh, geez. That's a tough question. You put us on the spot. No, I would say probably one show would be Baltimore Soundstage with Bad Wolves. It had been a while since we had returned to the Baltimore area because we had been, playing around, getting out of the area. And so for us to come home, in a sense, to the Baltimore area and play this big show with the band that, we absolutely respect, who's been, on the rise, and to get the reaction from the crowd, to see many familiar faces, it was an absolutely fantastic show. Mm-hmm.
Now, so, we've had a couple fun shows here at the headquarters with the band, and one of the things I learned was I can't play Name That Tune with Mark in the room because we had to throw him literally out of the game. I've never seen anybody with a musical memory like that. So I'm just curious, does anybody else in the band have a musical superpower that we don't know about? Like something unique that I've never seen anybody do what Mark did with that? Don't let it go to your head, Mark, by the way.
Nothing's equal to me.
Mark's on his own level.
Yeah.
Any unusual talents though, like or hobbies or like something? I always like to get a little peek behind the curtain. Like, is there anything that would surprise us? Is one of you knitting sweaters or something, or have a hobby that we don't know about?
Well, when I went home for Thanksgiving, my family lives down in Tennessee in the Smoky Mountain area, and my family has a dulcimer at the house, and I picked that up while I was down there. So there might be maybe a dulcimer on the next album.
Nice.
It has a beautiful sound to it, and really, it's a unique playing style to do it. It's kind of along the lines of like a steel pedal, but just expanding the horizons to different instruments and things like that.
I want to see if Mark can play a sitar.
Anybody else want to chime in? Anybody else in the band got something secret going on we don't know about?
Well, I don't know if it's secret, but I've kind of been told all my life, growing up in the choir scene in my school and coming to the band, that I think it's called perfect pitch. It's basically where you can just kind of hear a note in your head and then sing it. You don't really need to hear a piano, and then you can just kind of tell if something is out of tune just by hearing it. All my life, I thought that was just kind of a normal thing, but then people are like, dude, that's amazing. I can't believe you can do that. And I'm just like, it's like breathing sometimes. So I don't necessarily see it as a superpower, but everyone kind of tells me it is. So I guess that's kind of... I think it's definitely a superpower, though, because, our producer, Jeremy Dove with Darksville Studios, he will definitely attest to this. But when Jack gets in the vocal booth, he can lay down a track, and then he can perfectly harmonize with himself without having to do multiple takes. And we're all just sitting there, eyes wide open, like, how did he pull this off?
I get upset. I remember he did like a 5-part harmony with himself, and I go, Jack! He's like, yeah. I'm like, that sounded really awesome, bud. He's like, why are you shouting? I'm like, I'm really upset because you can do 5-part harmonies with yourself, and I can barely do one. I'm having a moment.
Well, hey man, they are Ignite the Fire. They're from Tawnytown, Maryland, and the Between Shadow and Solace is out right now. There's not a bad song on the record. You guys hit an absolute home run with this one, and you already know we're big fans of the band here at the Rock Show. So I appreciate you taking some time out during the holiday season to give us a chat, and wish you luck with the record.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks a lot. Thank you so much. No, we're very excited for this release, and of course, we have the lovely help from our endorsements, Pig Hog Cables and Clayton Guitar Picks, and they've really helped us with the cables and the picks for this CD that we recorded, and we're really looking forward for everyone to hear what we have coming up with this.
Well, I definitely encourage folks to get out there and pick it up. It's a great release, and guys, have a happy holiday.
You too. Happy holidays.